J.I. Case Company of Racine, Wisconsin presents Service is Profitable. This young contractor, like many others, is doing big things in the construction business. According to market research experts, he represents to some dealer a $25,000 net profit in equipment sales and service over a 10-year period. When he buys from you, you'll want to protect the potential profit he represents, especially when adding him to all the other construction and agricultural customers in your area. Good service is one of the best ways to retain your customers and build your dealership's reputation. What's more, the profits from service and parts reduce overhead and put you in a better trading position. However, the kind of service that makes a profit calls for sufficient workspace plus the tools and equipment necessary to do the job. Profitable service requires good facilities. To become a vital part of the profit structure of the total dealership, to do the job right, the service department must be organized right. Profitable service requires good management. And it takes well-trained mechanics to turn out the kind of work that'll satisfy your customers and make them want to come back. Profitable service requires good manpower. Facilities, management, manpower. These are the essentials of a profitable service department. Now let's see how you can apply these factors to your own operation. Let's begin with facilities. Take a look. An objective look at what you have now. Have you the space, tools, and equipment to serve all your needs today? Requirements of customers are going to determine the kind of service operation you need. So look at your facilities in relationship to their needs. Are they agricultural, construction, or utility? In addition, potential customers for labor and allied parts include the red, green, blue, and yellow owners, as well as the case equipment population in your trade area. Remember, all service and parts sales help reduce overhead. This lets you make better deals when selling new equipment. Shop tools are another factor in planning. Knowing what you'll be servicing helps determine the modern tools you'll need. Times have changed. Today's customers can't wait for time-consuming trial and error methods. To meet their demands, dealers must have specialized testing devices, which enable trained technicians to diagnose the trouble and pinpoint the problem area. Include this type of diagnostic equipment in your facility plans. Warranty service is also important to consider. That means a certification check is a necessary part of facility planning. This is accomplished by a J.I. Case service representative working with the dealer. To qualify for case certification, the service department must meet certain basic requirements. So the service rep checks the special tools and field service equipment, considers the size and condition of the shop and preparation for setup and pre-delivery, and rates the ability of mechanics and the quality of service in general. He's interested in the dealer's ability to perform special services, valve grinding and electrical repair, for example, or if suitable arrangements have been made to have such work done outside. A dealer who meets the basic case certification requirements is well on his way to a profitable shop. If a dealer doesn't qualify, the case service rep will help him develop and plan and timetable for certification. Finally, competition is a most important consideration. What about the equipment dealer down the street or in the next town? What does he have to offer? Plan to offer case customers and competitive customers better service. Get the jump on competition. Be prepared for what's coming in the future, say 10 years from now. Farms are consolidating. Construction activities are increasing. Thinking ahead helps you plan for the increased business of the future. But long range or short range, facilities planning calls for serious consideration of customers, potential customers, shop tools, warranty service, and competition. These are the vital factors which result in service facilities that increase sales of service labor. As the next step, you need guidelines to help determine the operation that's best for you. A four-man shop doing $50,000 labor sales annually is the first target for a profitable service operation. Naturally, the dealer's goal will depend upon the volume and service potential in the area. But generally, a four-man shop doing $50,000 labor sales annually takes about 3,600 square feet of shop area to handle the minimum service requirements for a $150,000 retail sales volume. Once you have established your guidelines, you can plan accordingly. For example, do you need to expand your facilities before stepping up service labor sales? Is there space for expansion? Where should the new construction be for the most efficient operation? These are some of the questions only you can decide as you do your advanced planning. Because you probably steam clean machinery before it's brought into the service department for repair, plan space for steam cleaning where it's going to be most convenient. For your own protection, the paint area should be located where the hazards of fire and health are reduced to the minimum. The type of customers determines the kind of rolling stock needed, as well as the service equipment and spare parts that should be on the trucks. A lot of changes may be minor and inexpensive. Some shops need only a coat of light-colored paint to clean them up and make them brighter. The important thing is to develop a plan for service department facilities and take action. A well-planned service department will pay its own way while giving customers the service they expect. Good facilities attract customers, build up a dealership reputation, and put you in a better trading position. But facilities are only part of the story. Let's take a look at the second essential of a profitable operation: management. Good management puts facilities to work to operate at a profit. In fact, profit from service sales will absorb the overhead of other departments. This profitable benefit is called service absorption. How would you like to have someone pick up the tab for your total overhead so you could make better deals on new equipment? Well, a well-managed service operation will do just that. A high percentage of service absorption means you can sell new equipment at a greater profit. You're in a better position to beat competition because equipment sales no longer are the only support of the dealership. Let's see how good service management helps you do this. As the first step, consider appointing a service manager. Make him responsible for the profitable operation of the service department. It's a full-time job for one man. Departmentalize your dealership. Make service, parts, and sales separate operations. To know how the service department is doing, you have to know where the money for service labor is spent. Experience has shown that establishing service as an independent department within the dealership is the best way to do it. The service department income and expense must be identifiable within the dealership accounting system. It can then be charged with its fair share of the overhead. As the profits increase, it'll absorb the overhead of the other departments. When establishing an accounting system, efficient dealers set up specific accounts to distribute service income and expenses properly. These accounts include services performed for customers and other departments of the dealership. Now, let's review a few of them. The customer service account. It includes all charges for service labor and parts for customers. A sales expense account covers the service performed on new units in storage, setup, and pre-delivery expenses, after-delivery service, and warranty expenses. In addition, the sales expense account includes charges for reconditioning used equipment and after-sales expense on these units. All service charged to the sales expense account should be made at the retail customer labor rate. There's also a repair guarantee account. This records a direct charge against the service department for comebacks, the repair jobs which have to be done more than once. A maintenance account includes all expenses for servicing the field service equipment or other cars and trucks used by the dealership. Keeping track of all these different accounts calls for an accurate system of reporting. The shop ticket, or repair order, is really a receipt for all labor and parts used for a particular job. A shop ticket must be made out for every job performed by the service department. The service manager writes up the shop ticket. At that time, he decides which accounts to charge. Next, he writes exact instructions to the mechanic. The customer may complain of noise in the engine, but the service manager has to write down more than hunt for knock. Maybe he sells the customer a steam clean and engine inspection. Then he writes definite instructions on the shop ticket, estimates repair costs, and has the customer sign the ticket to authorize the work. If the inspection discloses a need for additional work, the customer can be contacted later for his okay to proceed. When the mechanic assigned to the job gets the shop ticket, he has clear instructions on what to do. Any parts he needs for repairs are entered on the shop ticket. In fact, it's a rule in most dealerships that no parts can be delivered to the mechanic until they're entered on the shop ticket. After the work is done, the service manager inspects the job. He reviews the labor and parts charges before giving the ticket to the cashier. The copy of the shop ticket, which is kept by the dealership, has a number of uses, all important to the profitable operation of the service department. First, it's a record of the work performed on a particular machine during its service life. But perhaps the most important function of the shop ticket is keeping track of the distribution of expenses. For example, it's a record of the productivity of each mechanic. The tickets show how much work a mechanic puts out during the day, whether he's busy making a profit for you or wasting time. It's also a record of the sale of parts to customers. Many dealers make even greater use of the parts information on the tickets. Some of them keep a card file on each new machine in stock. Any charges for setting up or service are posted to the card from the shop ticket. In this way, the dealer knows exactly how much is invested in the unit, and the service department gets credit for the internal business. Expenses for repairing and reconditioning trade-ins are also recorded on shop tickets. Here, too, the service department adds to its service sales, and the dealer knows what he needs for a resale price on the used equipment. The shop ticket is important when recovering new equipment warranty expenses as well. It's the source of information when completing Form 1918, Warranty Adjustment Request. So, as many dealers recognize, shop tickets do perform a number of record-keeping functions. They're part of the system that management uses to control expense and profits in the service departments, profits which are necessary to increase service absorption. Now, let's see how dealers arrive at prices to charge for service. Basically, service sells two things: parts and the labor required to install the parts. It's easy enough to arrive at a price for parts. Establishing a price for labor is another thing. Actually, there are two ways to go: an hourly rate or a flat rate. Now, obviously, under the hourly rate system, the customer is charged for the actual time it took to do the job. Since mechanics work at different speeds, the total cost to customers can vary. The flat rate, on the other hand, is a set charge for a specific repair job. It's a professional way of establishing charges. It's the most businesslike way to operate a service department. The flat rate lets the service manager tell the customer ahead of time what his repair bill will be. And because he can quote prices, he has a better chance to sell additional work. The customer is satisfied because he knows what he's getting for his money. and he knows exactly what is going to be done to his equipment. The experience of shops using the flat rate system has shown that the average mechanic can meet, or better, the hours allowed for a job. In fact, competent mechanics prefer the flat rate, especially when it's tied to an incentive pay plan. We'll cover this in detail a little later. Flat rate price will increase the shop's earning capacity. The one fair price for all encourages customers to bring work to your shop, and the mechanics have an incentive to improve their efficiency. The flat rate is ideal for work done in the service department, but in pricing field service, most dealers charge an hourly rate plus a mileage charge to operate the service truck. While fair prices, both in and out of the shop, bring in customers, there are times when your service manager has the responsibility of going after business by personal solicitation, direct mail, or advertising. Promoting service work is one way he can keep the shop busy all the time, increase service sales, and avoid non-productive seasonal slow periods. Service reporting is another responsibility for your service manager. He talks to your customers all the time, and he's in a good position to know how case equipment is working on the job. The service reports he sends to Racine let the company know how a certain product is working out and whether or not it may require modifications to improve reliability. As an integral department of the dealership, good service management is indispensable to a profitable operation by increasing service sales and absorbing the overhead of other departments. Now let's consider another essential element of good service: manpower, the people who actually perform the work to be done in the shop. A program making the best use of manpower depends upon three things: hiring, compensating, and training. Although good mechanics are sometimes hard to find, it's important to take the time and effort necessary to hire the right men. Remember, these are the people who usually have the most direct contact with your customers. Since mechanics create either a good or bad impression for your dealership, you'll want to look for men who are neat, friendly, reliable, and good technicians, and who are willing to learn. Everyone agrees with this, but where to find them? Some dealers advertise in newspapers. Others recruit young men from vocational agriculture schools and trade schools. Sometimes a placement service is a good source. However, it's hard to beat word-of-mouth advertising. If you have a shop that attracts customers, it will attract mechanics too. If your own men like where they work, they'll recommend it to their friends. Still, there's nothing like a good compensation program with fringe benefits to make a man want to join your organization and stay with it. An incentive pay plan, which is tied to the flat rate system for pricing service, is a compensation plan many dealers are using successfully. Under this plan, the mechanics receive a percentage of the income from labor sales. In effect, it puts the mechanic in business for himself. The more work he can put out, the more money he makes. Dealers also find that the men tend to get to work on time and perform more efficiently. Since his paycheck is governed by his productivity, the man is always looking for ways to do the job better. Naturally, this increases the amount of work you can take into the shop. There's a greater pride in workmanship. He keeps up the quality because a comeback is money out of his pocket. However, to help your men continue to produce top-quality work, they need continuous training. Some dealers hold weekly service meetings. At these sessions, the men discuss mechanical problems that have come up, learn about new shop equipment, and review manufacturers' service bulletins. In addition, field service training pays dividends. So take the men to a plot of ground where they can learn to adjust and operate implements and machinery. It'll give them more confidence on service calls. The J.I. Case Company also offers extensive service training programs, both in Racine and in your dealership. Your case service representative will tell you about them. Finally, your mechanics may need some guidance in customer relations. When they have the right attitude about case equipment, customers gain confidence in you and your products. To sum up, to make a total impression on customers, it takes the right combination of facilities, management, and manpower. Good service, offering the best of facilities, management, and manpower, protects your profit potential in equipment sales for the years ahead. Because a greater service volume also leads to more sales, it makes good sense to be sure you have the proper facilities to do the job, the management to organize the work and control the expenses and profits, and the manpower to get the job done right. Remember, good service attracts customers, builds your reputation, and the added service profits absorb overhead to put you in a better trading position. In the successful dealership, service is profitable. Now let us help you toward 100% service absorption of overhead expense.